It's Masters Series. Today I'm here with Asher. How are you, Asher?
Honestly, doing pretty great. Hold on, let me turn on my microphone here because every time I jump in here, I'm so afraid that I might be muted or whatever. And I'm like, is this on? Hopefully so. And I will also say I was supposed to be casting this not too long ago, but it seems like every time I've been here, it's either been audio issues, it's either been a whole bunch of other stuff, I've either been sick. So really fun to be here finally.
Nice. Well, we're glad to have you and happy that you could make it this time. Today's going to be a really interesting match. It's going to be the first cash out we've ever had. Normally we've been doing 1v1 teams, but this will be the first time that we are doing four teams at once. I'm quite excited about this. I think it'll make it a lot more chaotic and a lot more interesting to watch. Anything that you're excited about or looking forward to today?
That's the thing. It's the uncontrolled or really controlled where you really look at a chaos that should be happening because rather than limiting ourselves to just certain players, now we're going 4v4v4v4 with cash out and really looking forward to it this time around.
Me as well. And I think today our lineup will be LRC, Berts, NTHX, and finally Yappers. I think that we've seen some great performances from them already in some of the earlier matches, and I think that really this first match will be quite an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, especially going into this next stage and especially with this format switch too, things should be heating up pretty well because rather than knowing that you have one team to face off against, considering you're one team against three others now and really just an uncontrolled environment, anything can happen. And now you have to watch not just front ways, but front, back, side to side, pretty much everywhere, even above at this point, because someone can come crashing down from the rooftops.
Yep, I think so. And, you know, just one thing that I love about this game is that when you have four teams playing in it, just the map slowly gets more and more disintegrated as it goes on. Previously with two teams, you know, a rocket and an RPG here kind of destroys a wall or two, but really when you get down to like the third cash out, everything is just crumbling all around you. And I think that's what makes this game unique is the destruction and the changing of the map as it goes on. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to is just the like you said the added chaos and the added just destruction everywhere going forward.
Yeah, because it's not that many video games that you can go into an environment and be able to destroy it to your advantage. Like, say, like you were mentioning, a well-placed RPG or a grenade, all it takes is that to just level an entire building. And sure, cash out could be in one place. You should be fine. That alarm rings. It's like, oh, I'm going to get my $15,000. And all of a sudden, another team comes barging in, grenades well placed below that. It falls, and then they hijack it for themselves. I mean,
Yep.
I imagine it's not going to be a fun time for anyone involved, say for that team, but it
Yep.
happens.
Well, in addition to that, they also have third teaming, which means that we have three teams that run in and kind of get stuck. And it really is up in the air until the last person gets the cash out. As we move into these matches, we can see the split one leaders. We see LRC at the top with a commanding 215 points, followed closely by Berts with 175 points. Next up, BKO at 135, tied with Frog 3 at 135 as well. No Name moving to 125, Divine Dead underneath them at 105, and NTHX Esports at 100, and finally Yappers. It's going to take me a few times to get the NTHX. It sounds very close to a lot of other organizations that I remember. But with that said, I think that we should be going into our map pick here shortly, and we'll see what they've been able to ban and what they have set up for us. So here we see the Swiss bracket, and we can see that the winners of the first team will go into the next match, and the losers will go into the B team, the secondary one. There is a secondary stream up right now if you want to watch the matches you're not getting here with LFC, Frog 3, No Name, and Divine Dead. That's done by my good friend Artie. So feel free to swap back and forth between the streams because I guarantee you both of them will be quite exciting.
Yeah, and please, again, we cannot emphasize enough, be sure to check out B-Stream, because if I remember correctly, Artie, I think, is solo casting over on that channel if I look, and I'm sitting here like, listen, number one, it's admirable. Number two, that's not easy, so please check that out for the sake of everything, but this Swiss bracket should be exciting coming up, like we iterated, top four teams moving on, bottom four should be moving on as well, and really, if you find yourself in that lower bracket, might make things a little more harrowing to get back up the winner's side.
Yep. And I've just gotten a message saying that the first map will be on Cis Horizon. Do you have any thoughts about Cis Horizon?
If anything, when it comes to Cis Horizon, a little close quarters for me. And interestingly enough, with the finals, I think that's the one map I haven't really had enough playtime on to really know about.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about Cis Horizon is it definitely does have a lot of close quarters combat. You almost always see the shotgun pulled out because you find yourself in so many close quarters with inside of buildings, hopping there back and forth. And on top of it, it's the only map that has no variations. So when it comes to a competitive environment, it's really kind of the map to play because you can't, you're not struck by the variations. Now, I think that that's to its detriment because I love the variations on the maps, but I think that it's really quite fun to know that a team can have a strategy and know that they don't have to be as dynamic when things come in. So in this map, we see quite a lot more close combat and just kind of more top tier skills and top tier plays, showcased. So I'm quite excited that we're getting started on Cis Horizon today.
Yeah, especially when it comes to close quarters maps in general, like you said with the shotgun. I feel with that especially, it kind of forces you to get a little more technical because sure you can spray
Mhm.
and pray, but at the same time, is that really the decision you want to run with, knowing that at any point in time, all it takes is one badly placed door swing and you're done and dusted?
Absolutely. And the harder thing too is that this map doesn't have a lot of areas to escape to. So again, you kind of get stuck in that close quarterness, and I think that the decision that our organization has, where we're only allowed one heavy per team, really comes to benefit there because in these like close fights, you're stuck with only having one. RPG, and nobody can kind of be the dominating force because with two heavies with two shields and then one pocket healer, it just becomes impossible. Yeah, it's really just kind of not a fun game to watch. But when you're forced to mix in there a light, which I love to see if they're bold enough to pull out a light, or two mediums and one heavy, I think that it just makes the gameplay very dynamic and very just fun to watch.
Yeah, and hearing that honestly made me have a PTSD flashback of reminiscing. Man, remember when pocket heals like were still kind of a thing now, but with two heavies especially, that's like trying to fight a brick wall, even like doubled, right? That's like two Brock Lesnar's put in a one, but it's not fun to deal with, not fun to contend
No.
with. So in this format, this mode, I feel just having one should make things easier. Simplicity for yourself and for everyone else involved here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think that it really lends to good gameplay. And I do believe that we're going to be hopping into it right now. We can see the multi-stream setup. I am still struggling to see who we are. We have Z, Swaco, and Clip in this stream. We see him hopping out, running with the defibs. Interesting choice that he's running with them, but it helps if a teammate goes down that he's made able to run over there immediately and bring him back up. We see everybody running towards Vault 1. Vault 2 is over to our left, and it looks like it's being opened by another team. But we do have Clip running towards the first vault.
I will say I'm either reading that as Clip or is that CIKP, possibly? Have
Oh,
we
it
just
is
been
CIKP.
misreading this wrong?
Dyslexia is hitting hard today.
I honestly, I completely understand that. And please just speaking of close quarter shotguns, we have two already down and only leaving Ploppy on NTHX. Finally got it right this time because I want to read it as NXT for some weird reason enough. Last one left alive here for at least 7 o'clock down below.
Yeah, D-Mob, and he's using the heat sensor, the thermal vision, which is really not used that often, but it's nice to see. It does bring you that good vision if somebody has invis or they're running around. It doesn't let you see through walls, which is great, but it does kind of give you that little bit of advantage. We see him running around, trying to get set up somewhere. It looks like the first cash out on A has gotten started. I can't tell if the second one looks like Vault 2 is going to be right now. I believe that XTH is running towards Vault B. And yeah, it seems like things are starting to get heated up.
Oh, believe we have a just a little
window
thing
in front.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, are we heading into Google Chrome? Hello, question mark, new map possibly, but multi-view up. I believe next cash out should be up momentarily, and as far away as that is, I imagine NTHX trying to change your game plan and maybe just go steal another. That should be cash out number A.
Yep, we see them getting set up, and another team is popping in for NTHX. We see the shotgun is pulled out. We're standing on the stairs watching the team come in, and we see a great fight starting to happen on the stairs. We see the pocket healer going in, and the heavy can't hold off. He goes down, and we see Polly getting the res, so his whole team is back now. We see them setting up in the corner, setting up near that APS turret so that they can block anything. Really great close quarters combat, and they're really keeping close and tight to each other. This is a long fight on the stairs. I'm quite impressed. We see the mines have gone down. Everybody's hopping down to the bottom floor now.
I will say, movement-wise, it always brings me back to the time-tested and true statement of the children yearn for Titanfall. Let's be very real here. But this is the finals we are talking about in NTHX. I mean, third, fourth, almost fifth party situation here coming in with every team involved on Stairway, but managing to make it out just in time. Thermal vision up and active for Dima, which you are right, we don't see it that much, but in a lot of key situations, especially at long distance, works really well in case you need an extra bit on aim.
Yep, and it looks like Yappers is going to get the steal on A. They're now currently holding it, and there's that thermal vision again. It's quite trippy to see, but we can see him setting up, and I'm glad to see it being used strategically. We're going into the last quarter of these cash outs, and it looks like Vault A is going to be held by Bertz and the Yappers.
Yeah, just everything a little too quiet for now. Then again, in saying the Q word, we always have something bound to pop up just a little later on. And Mel, Cash Out C should be up momentarily, but going on right now, we have Demov headed through window and just headed down Zip for sure. And Cash Out has been made with at least one team.
Yep, it looks like we have two teams now, the 12,000 and 11,000. The bottom two are stuck at 33,000 and 2,000, respectively. They do get a little bit of cash every time that they get a kill, but the majority of their cash is going to come from those big cash outs. In every time that they open a box, they get $1,000 as well. And in addition to that, every vault that opens up will increase in prize pool. So what this does is it makes it really interesting. So any team that's in the bottom can still come back, even with that last minute cash out, because they are just worth exponentially more than when they got started. So not necessarily if you get this first cash out doesn't mean that you're going to win.
And NTHX right now sitting at about 12,800, so only really just a couple $100, maybe $1,000 differential here between themselves and first place. And honestly, the cash box in hand shouldn't be that much of an issue, but about 4 minutes 26 on the clock coming up.
Yeah, it's amazing that we're already halfway through the map, and it's really kind of a close fight, but it does seem like these teams are branching off into 2 and 2. We don't yet see a whole third team attacking just one vault yet, and we will, if we do see that, it will just be pure chaos, but it does make it easier for us to cast to see just two teams attacking each other. And we see Dimov running towards, he's got that patented, he gets a great kill, gets their medium down, hiding behind the prop in the map, and his whole team is starting to push forward. We see that they're charging towards, looks like Vault D. He goes for another kill. He's able to see the team down on the floor really quite easily.
And I will say Thermal in this case working a little too well for Demov. Sure, we keep reiterating it's rarely played, but honestly in this key part, looking real nice with it. And anyone downstairs I imagine was not having a fun time. Cash Out D in the midst of just really being taken here. About 15,000 on the line coming up, and first place would be a massive differential between them and second here.
Yeah, and really, if one of these bottom teams gets the 15,000, they will immediately go up to the top. And what's interesting is we are actually seeing every team kind of going for this one vault. The Vault 4, or the Cash Out 4, has not even been placed into C, so we are getting kind of that chaotic situation going off right now. I'm not sure why they haven't, why a team hasn't picked up the Vault 4 and they've run it to the next Cash Out station, but it is interesting to see everybody kind of converging on one. And just like now, we just see 5 people all in one area throwing down that heavy shield, and it is just chaos in there.
Oh, the uncontrolled chaos that I was here waiting for to happen. And with alien invasion incoming, I imagine should shake things up for almost everybody involved. Now, the cash out available over at 4, another 15,000 on the line. And your second place here, that could be good, but I don't even think you have enough time to actually steal one here.
Yeah, Yappers is actually in a great position, and if they can run in, it does look like they're going to make one more final push into Vault D. And if they're able to get in there in time, they will just have a commanding lead. We're getting down to the last 10 seconds, so they have to be on it and holding right now. He breaks the gas, and I don't think that that's going to allow them the opportunity to get in there. So if I were them, I would start running to Vault 4. And we do see, who is that? CILK with Vault 4. I'm going to butcher his name all day. But they are running to cash out A, and it does look like the map is just getting destroyed underneath them. We see them kind of running around trying to get set up and get this next vault started.
With the NTHX right now in about first place, $25,000, $25,500. Excuse me, want to be exact here. Looking in a very great spot, but with a minute 32, I'd say I wouldn't exactly have that much to worry about. But there's always time for a slip up to happen, and just find yourself maybe in second place after the fact, and really getting bombed out here. Shield coming out just in time right now for Noli X and company.
Yeah, and we can see that the map is slowly getting destroyed by the UFOs and aliens. It does make it a little more chaotic when they're running, but who is this right now? NTHX running with Vault 5. They have just 1 minute to get over there. They should have enough time to get it set up, but it does look like one of the teams is trying to stop them. We see another fight happening on the staircase, which is great. It's just a really nice kind of, you can push your team back into the corner, and if you're able to retreat upwards, it kind of helps. You know, having the high ground does make a difference. We see Vault A holding off, and they set up a gas to kind of get it started and make sure that they get those few extra seconds to hold it, because in this game, holding it for just a little bit longer can really help you keep that advantage.
And the gas tank has a little bit of extra added deterrence. Health is much needed, but against a shotgun, I don't think you're going to be able to do that much. Two teammates down and an entire team wipe coming in, and now this is the aggression that I was talking about earlier that I expected to happen. And for NTHX right now, sitting comfortably and honestly not that much to worry about, save for protecting their own personal little cash out. Just eliminated last second, almost mowed through. Heavy Shield coming out just in time, however.
Yeah, and one thing that we see right now is we see their heavy just kind of running away. He's trying to make that distance because an interesting thing in this mode is that as soon as you die and your whole team goes down, you lose 30% of your current earnings. So it does really make the map just kind of more intense and more kind of focused on staying alive and not getting wiped on unneeded, because it can just throw you from first to second. And here in the tournament where every point matters, you really want to kind of hold on to that lead.
And you truly do. I mean, if you're in third place, 22,000 on its cash out with only a few seconds left would be massive. And if I look correctly, that would be enough to disrupt NTHX, if I remember, still sitting at first place here. So the Demon and Boone, they are down by one with the situation having about 19 seconds on respawn. And the same can be said for Boone going in here, so leaving only Demon off to try and fight this out as best as possible, or at least try to get away quickly here before just getting downed by another person.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, the Demon did have to use his taser, so he is just kind of running away, trying to hold it, and if he can hold off and just kind of get that tase, but I think that he just went down, and that is going to be the match.
And what a first starting match indeed. NTHX, I mean, we did get bumped down to second place, so not that much to worry about. Should have at least a high stack of points when it comes to placement and when it comes to kills here.
Yeah. That was quite an exciting match. I was really interested that they didn't start two cash outs at once. So we did see that in the very beginning, but here on the second round, when the second two vaults spawned, it kind of all focused all around one vault and one cash out, and then they opened the vault, but they didn't take it to the cash out point. So it was really interesting to see that they kind of played this with a little bit of strategy, because it did let the teams kind of change back and forth between who was commanding the lead. Do we have a list of who won? Because I couldn't tell it right at the end. Everything kind of changed right when the last cash out happened, because we had that last second steal, and you'd love to see it, but I didn't see who won.
Believe we should have that up in a second according to production, but I will say, especially with our change in like mode and like variation with everything going on with 4v4v4 cash out and everything under the sun, it kind of changed the strategy of a lot of people. Rather than having to worry about one team coming forward at a certain place and knowing that you can just have like multi cash out and be able to win from there, you just really had to stick to one, knowing that everyone was going to come at you, like we saw at the stairway fight, like we saw with this guy with a lot of situations going going on with one, two, third parties coming out of the woodworks to try and get at you for these cash outs really forced a lot of teams, especially NTHX here, to kind of have to refigure things out for themselves going into these rounds.
Yeah, definitely, and we did see kind of the hands changing a lot. We saw NTHX had the commanding lead at the end, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to pull it off and hold off onto that lead. But that is what we saw was interesting. We also did see quite a lot of team wipes. So the cash dynamic did change several times, and we did also see that anytime that two teammates would go down, we would see the third member just try and run and hide and get out of there because they know how detrimental it can be to lose 30% of your overall earnings.
Yeah, I feel regardless of class too, if you lose two of your teammates, there's really nothing you can do except like run away. You can try and tank it as a heavy, but then you realize, hey, no heals. I'm not going to last long. You can try and tank it as light, but if we're being honest, anyone who tries to tank damage as light here is not going to be in for a good time. Who are you going to heal?
Yeah.
Yourself? No, just run away, hide in a corner somewhere. Please, I beg.
Yep, absolutely. And we're still working on the graphic for who won. But one thing I'd love to see today would be a vault or a cash out that has two of the vaults inserted into it, because that can happen, and you can have the total cash out at the end, be like 44,000 if you get to the last two. So I'd love to see some teams just feel bold enough to take it in there while a team's fighting, and just throw in the whole dynamic away, and just give us a real interesting fight where all four teams are having to fight for it at the end. I'm not sure if we'll see that because it's pretty hard to pull off and not the best from strategy wise, but you hope to see it, and maybe we will.
True, that's such a bold move that can either be really good in the long run and an insane thing to be able to commentate over, or it could be so dangerous, so I don't want to say dumb, but imagine that happening last second. You should be able to pop off with it fine, but then somebody manages to steal your cash out. I too would be upset if I lost $44,000 like that.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think that this next match will be interesting to see kind of who we have going forward, and who will be going over to the B team or the B stream. Yeah, so we're going to be having kills come up here shortly. And yeah, just looking forward to that next map. I think the next map will be on Skyway Stadium, which is really an interesting one. A lot of open space, a lot of open areas. You're going to have to see the teams kind of do that traversal and movement to get over to the vaults fastest. But do you have any thoughts on Skyway Stadium?
Well, I will say that is definitely a change from Cis Horizon, right? So with Skyway Stadium, like you said, it's open and you have plenty of places that instead of getting close quarters now we're really going into that long range distance, that potential, right? So anything on hand, say like snipers or rifles, are really going to play an important part here. I mean, sure, try and aim as best as possible from across the way, maybe like a mile or two with an assault rifle. You better have that recoil on lock. Let's be very real here.
Yeah, well, and I think it would be bold. I don't know if we've seen a single sniper in this entire series, but yeah, I would love to see one today. It's always great to see, and it requires a lot of skill.
A lot of skill and plenty of more buildings to really destroy. But we look at our series leaderboard for now, with Yappers at least taking first place, 34,600 to start, about 20 points with 5 KP and 15 placement. NTHX get bumped down last second in the second place of that match, at least 2 KP with placement 25,700, with BKO and Bursts following respectively in third and fourth place in terms of placement.
Yeah, and it's interesting to point out here that KP stands for kill points, so they do get a point for kills that they were able to get, so it does help their total overall. But it was interesting to see that Yappers got 34,000. That's quite impressive, which means that they at least got 2 cash outs done, and some kills. We see the same thing with NTHX. They were able to get quite a lot, and I believe that they got 2 cash outs, but it seems like they didn't get enough kills, or they had a team wipe that really brought their total down. And with BKO just slightly behind them, boy, that's got to sting a little bit, because they were just off by, what is that, 6,000, not even. So it's quite a close match. Sadly, Bert's just couldn't pull it off, and they're really kind of the team that just wasn't able to get the kills or the cash outs. Sometimes that's what happens in this game. Sometimes you are the unlucky fourth team, but I really kind of expected to see them a little bit closer up there, at least in line with BKO or something like that.
I will say, if I remember looking at the placement earlier correctly when we first started off, is that Yappers, they got not only a significant amount of money, but I think that was all the way up from third place to first that they were able to elevate themselves over, which an insane start thus far. We'll give them that.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, it was great to see just how many team kills that they were able to get in that last match. It can be a little chaotic to follow everything, but definitely cool to see some of those really close fights happening. And yeah, I think as we move into this next one on Skyway Stadium, I think things are going to be a little different. I think that, like you were mentioning earlier, that we might see some more sniper battles or at least a little bit long range. In these maps, we can kind of see teams that go for chip-off damage, but a lot of my experience is from just our previous format where we had just two teams. So being out in the wild is going to be a different play, and we can actually see us getting started here again. Both teams are all pretty spread out, no big fights happening. Everybody's just kind of in the setup phase. We see Vault 1 has started to be opened. Vault 2 has not been touched just yet. Actually, I take that back. It has been. Both vaults have been completely opened, and we see Zeke and CKIP setting up. Waiting for the vault.
Yeah, wait.
Stay down. Come back.
It should be a quick and easy cash out coming in with a tank available, making sure that A not only just gets done and dusted, but anyone trying to go to A in the first place is really just going to meet a very explosive surprise with just NTHX right now sitting as best as possible upstairs.
Yeah, and we see them trying to kind of NTH up and hold the line. They don't have control of this vault yet, but they are setting up on the high ground, so trying to get the advantage and throw. We saw them throwing the explosive barrel, and we can see them just trying to get down, or at least down to one teammate, so that they can swoop in there. They are right next to this cash out, so we can kind of see what they're trying to do. Interestingly enough, we see that Vault 2 has not been inserted into cash out B yet, and it does look like NTHX was able to achieve what they were going for and going for the steal right now. Didn't get it, one of their teammates went down. You see that they're getting pushed. One of them just got rocketed in that corner. This is a really hard vault to steal, just because everything is so close, and behind that stairwell, you're able to kind of hide and tuck in. We see that Gremlin is running away. They threw down a bounce pad, which is a great opportunity for them to kind of see an overview and get out of there. Vault 2 is actually close to cash out A, so remember what I said earlier when we might see a team that feels bold enough to put it in and go for the steal, and it is inching closer and closer, so I'm getting more and more excited because I really would love to see this vault go into cash out A.
Man, a hard vault and a terrifying one at that. We just saw, just over the course of a minute, maybe a couple seconds here, that you had gas, you had grenades, you had RPGs, everything under the sun. And sure, you had a couple heavies to tank with shielding, but at what cost? And for at least $10,000, it's very understandable. This is giving you a massive head start going forward. And with one team wipe and another assist coming in against both, it looks like CIKP managed to get the cash out here at near strength.
CIKP was able to insert it in there. They got the steal, and they are going to have a commanding lead. Even though they just had a team wipe, it looks like they are still thrown up to the top with 21,000. The closest team behind them only has 6,000, so they're in a really good spot where they could almost just farm for kills. It's pronounced
chickpea?
I just learned that it's pronounced chickpea. Okay, well, I can remember that. That's a lot easier instead of me trying to figure out how to pronounce it. So chickpea with the amazing play there. And now we see Gremlin, and they are starting to go towards Vault B. I think that they might just try and set up here and just wait for the vault to be brought to them. I think that both of them have been open now. At least Vault 3 has been open, and it looks like Vault 4 is being slowly progressed on and is opening as well.
I'm still in disbelief over the fact that the entire time it's pronounced chickpea. You look at that and you think, no, CIKP, nope, chickpea. So sitting here in disbelief at that, but Also, TTV and company just sitting here, I wouldn't say menacingly, but with the gas tank in hand, I imagine so, and just rushing down Bone, who just did not have a fun time just walking out the door, being faced with every bullet, every weapon under the sun, and giving chase. It is Gremlin, just able to secure the team wipe.
Yeah, and Team Wipe really hit them hard. Brought their total down to just 1,000 points, $1,000, which is going to make it quite a climb. We see the last place team with only 700, so that means that they probably only got one vault open, and then they got wiped as well. So it does look like we have two big commanding teams here. Again, just setting up. Vault B has gotten started. And the next cash out has not been entered in, and I'm curious if they're going to try and bring it over and get the double cash out again.
One elimination on the board now. NTHX hoping to mow down the competition here, but sitting at 4th place in comparison to where they were at the beginning of today. I mean, I wouldn't exactly say it's a far cry, and I wouldn't exactly say it's disappointing, but it is a little concerning seeing just performance drop already going on the board with 2nd place here. Chickpea, Swaco, and Z sitting at about $9,600, 15,000 secured, possibly if nobody else is able to steal from them.
Yeah, and we see Demonov is the last player on his team, and he's just trying to run and get out of there. Interestingly enough, the big tunnel is still available. The bridge is still up, and he was able to escape by running off the bridge. But, you know, as the match progresses, it's really common for that bridge to just go down. So he might not have that escape away here shortly.
Just waiting downstairs below.
Hold on, am I seeing this right? They were in control of both cash outs there for a second. They ran away and were able to get one of them. Gremlin and MXKX was able to kind of steal one, run over to the next cash out. It does look like they've lost one, and they're now fighting for B. But yeah, that was quite impressive. I'm not sure how I missed that.
Yeah, wait a minute, I just saw that too, a little spread out thin across the map, but at least if you have two, I mean, sure, you lose one, but at least you have the other safe and sound, so I guess it gives you a little bit of just options, versatility here. Even NTHX are down by one, but regardless of that, still keeping a hawk's eye on cash out here.
Yeah, and in THX, it looks like they're holding it. They've got that APS turret, and they were able to get it just in the last nick of the second, and I don't think that anybody's going to have time to contest that, so NTHX is going to get this cash out in hand. They are running over to Vault C, but it does look like whoever's controlling that one right now is just going to hold it, because we are in the last few seconds of that as well. So moving into it, I think that we're halfway through the match now, and we see who is that? Demonov running towards Vault 5. They will get the 1,000, and I think that they do need these points because the spread is quite big right now. We see 26,000 the leader, and 18 followed up, and then followed by 11,000, and then just 7,000. So the teams are pretty evenly spread out, shockingly.
Now back to our multi-view, trying to get a grasp of where everyone is on this map thus far, and destructibility coming forward, at least on one. NTHX right now rotating onward over to the next vault for a brief second. It looks like A is under control of Chickpea, Z, and Swaco right now.
Yeah, interestingly enough, there's only one cash out going again. I'm curious if the leader is able to hold the first vault. It honestly kind of looks like that's what they're doing. Having trouble seeing who is in the bottom right-hand corner, but we do see them kind of set up, and they might be just more guarding this vault. I'm not sure if they'll take it in, because as soon as you kind of defend a vault, you don't have to kind of push it. If you're in the lead, you don't want to start another cash out. You want to just make sure that you kind of hold that lead, and either dying or kind of starting another cash out reduces your chance or increases the chance that somebody else could take it and run with it.
That would be a scary chance at that, I imagine. Not wanting to let that happen in any way, shape, or form. Now, Swaco Z and Chickpea sitting in 4th place now, so I guess the tables have really turned with everybody else finding their footing with their cash, and in 2nd place, 20,000 with an increase of 22 would be massive, but with Deathmatch active, wanting to be just a little more careful in where they find themselves with footing.
Yeah, deathmatch is interesting because every kill gets them $1,000. So it's normally not enough to kind of turn the tides, but if you do have two teams that are really close, like we do see with our first and second team, it can make the difference. So we now see that NTHX is getting set up. They have a long road ahead of them. They were down to the last minute of this match, and they need to steal this last cash out. Otherwise, they are not going to be in a good position.
We'll
we do see them starting to push in, so this is going to be the last fight probably of this match. And the vault is now at 44,000. So whoever
Oh
takes
my
this, whoever
God.
has this at the end, is going to win this round. It was just the chance for the last place team to come in, steal it, and go to first, or one of these first place teams.
Say 44,000. I mean, sure, one gets stolen, but you are able to secure the other one would be massive. It's the situation we talked about earlier. Happens not once, but almost twice. And deathmatch active, I imagine a little more money on the board here. Just coming in, Dimov. Last one left alive yet again, and wanted to avoid a team wipe situation. 22 left on the clock for 117 on another, so shouldn't be that much time before they're really back to full strength. Here's everyone else now playing best of their abilities for its final cash out.
I did not mean to take that back.
Yeah, we can see these teams really trying to kind of turtle in, hold off their vaults. They stay a good distance away, and every team today has been using gas to kind of give them that few seconds advantage, because it's almost impossible unless you have a molly or smoke to kind of dissipate that gas. And as long as you're holding the cash out and trying to steal it while getting gas, it makes it almost near impossible if you get any extra damage. And here we are getting down to the last few seconds of it. We see a steal starting to try and happen. I'm not sure if they were able to get it, but it does look like
Easy
they have the finals.
The points are ours.
Oh, yeah.
Man, if I hear correctly, that might be the most kills coming in for first place here with Gremlin, MXKX, and Op just really sitting in a great place here. And we should be able to get the scoreboard just momentarily, but a bit of a shake-up coming into it with our next match.
Yeah, that was quite a match. I'm honestly shocked that it went off like that. Mainly because we saw the vault happen. We saw 2 cash outs go into a vault, which is what I was saying on an off chance that it would happen. And I think that we're going to get some replays here.
A quick little replay coming up. I mean, multi-view is very helpful, but these kills came out in full effect. And for NTHX especially, playing aggressively from a lot of high ground positions and really just taking no quarter, no prisoner to be had. And really just heavies, especially on this map. Skyway shined bright, just destruction all around.
Yes, absolutely. Just so many great plays. There was a team that had both cash outs at one point. They were able to take it and just hold it. So many steals, so many upsets. Really quite interesting to just see how dynamically this map changed.
Man, it truly did, especially with deathmatch up and active. I mean, sure, it's not that significant, but if you are a team, say, in last place or third place, a little extra cash goes a long way. We have to talk about that double cash out attempt that almost happened, about $44,000 that was up for grabs. And sure, one got stolen, but it did allow for you to at least get that extra bit of insurance with another 22K here.
Yeah, so I misinterpreted it as I thought that they had entered 2 vaults into it, but we had a team that was actually able to go from one cash out, steal it, and then run to the next one and steal that one as well. And there was an opportunity there that if they could have held both somehow, they would have increased their earnings by 44,000. And honestly, that would have just thrown them right up to the top. But quite exciting to see from just a team play and just kind of everything that they were able to do. Just shocking. I did not think that we would see half of the stuff we've already seen today.
And that's the thing, we're just starting out today. We have plenty of action to go. So if anything, am I looking forward to it? Sure. With the new format being cash out 4v4v4v4, more uncontrolled chaos 1000%.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that we'll be getting the points here and the kills. I think they were just working on that graphic here shortly. But I'm interested to see what the kills were, because I don't think that I saw as many team wipes as I did in the last match. So I think that the kill numbers are going to be slightly lower, but we'll see here shortly as soon as they get the graphic put up.
Yeah, of course, just gonna have to wait and see on that one. Let's see. I believe we should have new maps coming up after this one with Series 3 up shortly, which that should be a fun one.
Yep, the next map will be actually in Monaco. I think Monaco is my favorite map. It's just one of those maps that the variations can be really interesting. I personally love the church because it's only got that entrance and exit kind of at the top, and at the front and back. A lot of these other buildings, you can come in from windows on the side or on the left and the right, but this one makes it kind of more, I want to say tubular, bring back a 90s phrase, tube-based gameplay. I didn't think I'd say that ever, but it does make it kind of more in a tunnel. So it's interesting to see, and then you also have the variation where that entire church is just destroyed, so it just makes it a big open area on the map. And we are able to see Yappers with $80,000 cashed out. Total points of 35 and 9 kill points. It's interesting to note that they get 1 kill point for every 3 kills. So it wasn't just 9 kills that they got there, significantly more than that. And followed closely, BKO were able to get 12 kill points. So I might have been wrong earlier when I said that I didn't see that many team wipes. It seems like they actually were getting quite a lot of kills. They were able to get $70,000 cashed out, and for a total points of 34. Oh, this is the overall. Okay, well then this changes everything a little bit. Overall, they have brought it back. So we can actually see the point spread is quite small. The leaders right now are BKO and Yappers, followed closely by NTHX Esports with 34 points, and finally Burt's didn't really bring much up from their last game. They are kind of the underdog here, so if they're able to pull anything forward, I think that now's the time to do that.
It truly is. I mean, being in 4th place is one thing, and I imagine you don't want to get knocked out too early. Yapper still taking a commanding lead at about 1st place, $80,000 compared to a $13,000 differential. I mean, that gap is really massive coming into it, especially for NTHX between Burts. I mean, hold on, I got to get my calculator up here. So approximately 38,000. I didn't get an approximate estimate. Minus about, what was that, 13,000? You'd still have about 25,000 maybe to go there to catch up.
Yeah. And like I said, that's kind of what makes them the underdog. They're the team to root for if you really want to find somebody to follow and see if they're able to kind of step up against these monsters of teams right now.
Yeah, and it seems that we got an update from production here. Group A is going Skyway next. Got you.
Okay, so the same map. It'll be quite interesting to see. One thing that I found interesting in the last map is that the tunnel, the bridge stayed up for longer than I expected. So normally, as soon as you get in there, it's really advantageous to kind of break that and bring it down, and then force everybody just to go use the building to the left, and use that as kind of the way to funnel everybody into one area. So it'll be interesting to see if we're able to get that down immediately, or if they're have some big brain strategy and are able to keep it up, and maybe it's not as important as I think. So
You're just gonna have to wait and see on that one. I am surprised though, because usually you want to go for maybe for like a different map switch if you're comfortable with it. But I guess this time around, Skyway, if it works once, I guess it's going to work again, at least for the mindset of some people here.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that we're just waiting for them to get into map now. But yeah.
Oh, looks like we're having server issues.
Yep. Not uncommon. It's good to remember that the private matches only recently came out. I mean, in retrospective, it's been probably about 2 months now, but it is something that they have stated as kind of a beta. And previously, up to like 2 months ago, we didn't even know that we would have this. So server issues do happen, and especially with 4 teams instead of just 2, it makes the issues a little bit more abundant. And so while we just wait for them to get set up, I think that, have you seen any kind of highlight play or anything that really stood out in your mind today so far?
If anything, I have to really think about this, because so far there's been plenty of good highlight plays. I'd have to honestly go with, who's it? It's either Yappers or NTHX that came in with the double cash out scenario that we were talking about $44,000 on the line. And like I said, it's risky. I mean, in a way, it's kind of dumb because you let yourself open a little too much, but it's still fun to watch nonetheless.
Yeah, and it does make a little bit of sense if you're just kind of commanding that lead and commanding the overall map, because every time you do steal, you also get $1,000. So it can kind of bridge the gap a little bit, or make your lead just that much more impressive. So that might be the logic behind it, but who knows? We've got a lot more matches up to see, and yeah, I'm quite excited to see Skyway Stadium again. I think that it's one of the maps that's just not chosen a lot, mainly because there's just these wide open areas, and you do just lose a lot of health from chip damage and faraway teams, and then some of the cash outs are really close and really kind of compacted in there. Like we saw one fight happening on top of the construction area at the top. One of the vaults fell down, and there's kind of a staircase to the left of it, and it just makes it where everybody's kind of pushed in, almost like we saw on the stairway on the previous map, where it's just kind of you keep backing up, but then you're kind of hit by a wall, and it just forces one team to kind of show which is the dominant one and who can take over.
Yeah, and you still have to worry about not just one team, 2, 3 more, maybe, like we saw with a lot of staircase fights, and then really getting close quarters in Skyway, which we expected a lot of in Sis Horizon, but next map especially was not pretty to watch a lot of those team fights, because you'd expect to stay safe in 1 second, but then the next, all of a sudden, Heavy comes crashing down on you with pocket heals descending from heaven, or maybe ascending from the bowels of hell, possibly. Shields in hand, you can do absolutely nothing about it, as you are absolutely shotgunned into oblivion. Not fun stuff.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, it seems like most of these fights are happening between 3 to 4 teams. We see occasionally the cash outs are happening with one team, but it seems like one team gets it, they run away, and it just kind of then becomes a big cluster, and everybody's just trying to get one vault at the end. So interesting to see. Lots of strategy behind this, lots of things that we've never seen before on this tournament, and I think that we're just up for more chaos, more destruction, more upsets, more teams that just hold the domination, and we'll have to kind of see. Hopefully they're working on getting that server going. Not sure what's going on there, but yeah.
And I will say, if we're on the topic of vamping and everything, I hope everyone knows my mom actually figured out how to watch Twitch in the background. She's actually watching the stream. It's very funny. Hi, Mom.
That's my girl.
Which people are in chat, like they actively know that there is Ash Mom Lords. The funniest thing possible.
Oh, nice.
But of course, we're going to get into next game here, and it honestly should be really fun. Looking forward to it.
All right. It looks like everybody's loading in.
My cats to cook food for me.
We have an interesting camera here. I'm not sure which team that is, but we have a
I
third
think we do
view.
the same setup, I guess.
Look like they're all playing. I wonder if this is the only team that
Dude, I've
plays
seen a
together.
lot of people with mines,
That's
bro. I
quite
kind of
cool
want
to
to play
see
mines
that
now in
they
this
are-
fucking chaos mode.
All
hell
in
no.
one building.
Okay,
It
well,
really
at least-
builds that teamwork, camaraderie.
What map is this?
Just something that I want to say it's probably one of the first that we're seeing here in the finals esports scene.
We're not the sorry.
And I will say the outfits, drip or drown is what I really like to say in a lot of cases. And I will say there's some teams looking absolute fire as we head into our next game
we're
here.
fucking
Looking
west.
forward to it. Really
No,
excited. We could
we're
either
not.
see Yap Supremacy again,
West
or
Coast.
maybe possibly a first place shakeup in our
Team
stats.
to our left, maybe.
Yep, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see, who was it that was Bert's kind of down at the bottom. Yappers is definitely holding the commanding lead. BKO really close behind them. So there's two teams that you're wanting to follow. Follow the fights between Yappers and BKO, because those are the teams that are fighting within 1 point of each other. And if you want an underdog to follow and root for, look at Bert's and see what they're trying to do here. We see Demonov running, and does not look like he's using the heat sensor anymore. The what is it called? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank because nobody uses it. The thermal vision. We see him set up. He now is running an invis. It looks like he's going for the shot. He does get an amazing kill on Z. See, they're heavy jumping around, running away, and his team is down to about half health. He's able to run away and kind of get his health back up all the way. And his whole team just gets a nice wipe, and they're able to get the first vault, and they're really close to A, and I think they're going to run over there. So Demonov, his team, really great holding, keeping everybody healed. They're going to get Vault A. Is Vault A in the elevator? No, it's not. It's right below it.
But yeah, it's
The
down below.
elevators, Yeah, the elevator is one of my favorites just because it's such a unique cash out. Don't think we've seen it yet on this tournament, but they do get it set up in the hospital, which is kind of one of the more fortified areas in this map. We see that they are just running around. Who is that? NTHX is able to respawn. I think they're going to go for A as well. Yep, they are. They're running towards the hospital. And yeah, we see who is the team in command of B. I can't tell. Oh, it's MXKX and Gremlin's team. And they're pretty set up. I don't know if many people are going for B. I think that the fight is going to be at A. So Vault B might be just a secure, easy win for them.
I mean, you say that, and then again, there's this dreaded thing that we like to call the caster's curse, right? So you say secure and you say safe, and I'm sitting here like, all it takes is one team to hear that and be like, wait, nobody's going B? That should be like an easy swipe for us? So if anything happens, of course, we have to blame you. I'm kidding, of course. But we move on to our next team here, NTHX, right now, just sitting on top of stairway here, sitting on the roofs, just keeping a little isolated as per usual, making sure that everything's close, quiet, clear. Turret should be popping up here in just a second here.
Yep, we see NTHX got a good setup on their vault. It does look like Vault B is being pushed by another team, so they don't have kind of the easy cash out that I expected, but it has kind of gone quiet again. So I'm not sure if there's a team wipe in there or if they're just kind of getting set up. Oh, we actually do see the fighting starting to happen. Chick P gets a great kill. His teammate reses them immediately. Oh, and the elbow kill on OPP. Love to see it. They should have just enough time to run in there. They did get a team wipe, so Vault B will be theirs. Good plays.
Honestly, we gotta talk about the kill, the slide into defibrillate, and how much of a clean revive that was. You pick your team back up, and not only that, you get an elimination on top of that, so it just really stacks on the much-needed KP that could be good going forward here for placement-wise.
Yep, it's a shame we don't give points for style, because that was very
That was kinda
stylish and very
smooth.
cool to watch. And it does look like these first two cash outs are going to happen. We see that the bottom teams just have $1,000 each, and the top two have over 11,000 and 13,000 in the lead. So we're already kind of bridging that gap, and they're going to have to kind of pull up and really kind of dig in to get ahead in this tournament.
Of course, back to our multi-view, and right now, just everyone getting resettled with these newer cash outs coming forward and just getting their respective vaults. I know right now it seems to be my internet will load up properly. Coming forward, and if you're on the side of Gremlin's channel right now, I mean, well, 3 should be an easy pick for you.
Yep, can't see what's happening right now. We've got a kind of a, there we go. Yeah, in this multi-view, it's just so much action happening all at once. You know, we're kind of in a pause area where no teams are in combat, where they're just kind of taking their vaults to their respective cash-out stations. And so it's kind of, we're in this time where everybody sets up and then finds the opening, any opening that they can, and tries to get in there. We do see more than one team heading over to C, so it might be the first fight that's happening at C. I'm not sure who is in control of Vault 4 right now, but they're running towards each other. And yeah, we do see combat starting to happen. NXTH falls through the building and gets immediately down to their last player. And he's just doing everything he can to survive with that shotgun, but he's facing a heavy. And can he get the kill? He cannot. He loses 30% of their cash and goes down for a team wipe.
You know, I don't want to say it, but in the battle between, yourself and a heavy, what would win? Hydrogen bomb, coughing baby, or in this situation, heavy with a shotgun? I think I'm taking the heavy in a lot of cases.
Yep, yeah, and so it's just one of those situations where if the heavy just has a little bit more health, he can really kind of get in there and just out tank you, and that is kind of the advantage of having a heavy. Interestingly enough, we have seen Demonov running light, which is, I think, the only light player in this map, so he's kind of at the advantage or disadvantage, whichever way you look at it, because he has just such a low pool of health. They're getting set up, and they are not in control of Vault Cash Out C, but we do see this happening again. They're bringing Vault 4
by the way.
into C, and they're going to try and go for it. There it is.
I don't know, can I?
So now this vault is worth $30,000. Whichever team gets this will go in
Okay,
to
go
the
blue
lead.
again
Currently, it looks like MXKX and Gremlin is holding in control. They're right below it, so I think they're setting up so that they can C4 it and drop it down and then bring it in control of them. We're running more than halfway through this cash out and just kind of seeing what they can do.
Sure, MX and company right now have a hold of the cash out. That's $30,000. About 2 minutes left on the board for this game going forward. If anything, that makes you so much more of a risk for everyone to try and just jump out at you. And it's been stolen. Retro Invasion 82 is up and active, so should add a little bit of extra flavor going in for a game.
Yeah, and just everybody is here. I think that the C4 just went off, but I don't think it dropped. Nope, there it is. It drops down. Were they able to stop the cash?
He's stealing again, he's stealing again.
Stolen. He's being healed. Oh, and they get him. Good kill.
Woo! I'm running.
Gremlin with the great shotgun plays. They get the team wipe as well, and the cash. So they're sitting pretty at 36,000.
Man.
Retro Invasion has started. Retro Invasion is kind of one of my favorite things that they added this last season because it little tiny 80s video game characters kind of come in and destroy the map. It's fun to see, fun to watch as we see the teams kind of getting set up for these next cash outs.
It's a neat little event coming forward. Honestly, I like it. It's a little silly, goofy for my taste, but it's still fun nonetheless. I have to agree with you on that one. And then going forward, that's at least $32,000 still up for grabs at 1 point, but now at first place, a significant point differential between that and, if I look correctly on the view, about 16,000 question mark. My eyes don't deceive me.
Yep. Yeah, it does look like that. This is quite close. It's going to come down to these last two cash outs. I think we're already past the halfway point of this match, and so we're getting kind of into the end already. Yep, there is just, what is that, 1 minute left? Yep, 1 minute left. Perfect. Now, they will get an extra minute as soon as they put the cash out into the vault, but, adding just 1 minute to this game, doesn't change quite a lot. We see the vault starting up, and it's going. Is this again? Did they get both in there? Is that for 44,000?
No way. Not again? There's no way.
They are bold. These teams have played against each other. They know what's happening, and they're just trying to give us the best show that they can. This is unprecedented to see so many two vaults in one cash out station.
My goodness, they're just having too much fun with it at this point. They know that they have cash guaranteed, but for second place, 20,000. I mean, they might have the kills, might not have the cash, but that would be huge. But already it just gets stolen by third here. 7,600 with 44,000 in tow. Even if that goes through, would just completely overtake first.
So good. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
Gremlin, okay.
that's impressive, and that's what can happen here. The third or fourth place team can steal a cash out with this much value and just run right to the top, and that's what will happen if they're able to hold this cash out until the end. We see a team wipe from the final last place team, so it does turn into more of a fight for the top three places right now. The last place team is going to respawn, but they're not going to have much time to run over there, try and get it. We see NTHX using the dematerializer and trying to bring the vault down. He's going to try and steal it from the top, but he goes down. In XTH is down to just two players. He's getting healed by his teammate, and they get bombarded. I think that they all just got wiped.
And a full team wipe coming forward. That should be some good KP tacked onto the board, but with cash out, it just gets completely blocked in the corner. I saw that happen.
Oh,
no!
and he goes down. Demonov. He couldn't make the jump. I thought he could get through in that little broken area. Yeah,
was-
we see Gremlin. And they're gonna take it. Wow.
That was such a good block. I just saw the phone pop up, and I'm like, probably slide under that, maybe a side through, but no, just completely and totally trapped. I felt so bad for Demoff in that moment. Wanted to hop around and maybe find a way to steal from that cash out. Just couldn't do it.
Yep, he tried. He really tried. I thought he had it, but yeah, amazing play with the foam, just blocking it. And I think that those foam canisters are really slept on. On top of that, the foam grenades, because they can stop a situation just like that, and they're stronger than people realize. I think we're going to go into a quick replay situation here.
A quick little replay of everything that did happen so far. We'll say nearly beginning, Demoth just absolutely getting a clean two-piece against Chickpea, another member of that team with the smooth replay on this one. It was the revive and then the kill against OPP that really just had everyone going at Chickpea. Listen, I was very unfamiliar with your game, and then this little battle, Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby, or in this case, medium build versus heavy with a shotgun and a shield. Didn't exactly go your way, but really in the end, it was that 44k cash out that had everybody scrambling.
Yeah, this is just it's so insane to me. You just don't see this many teams that get 2 vaults going at once, and we're seeing 4 teams converge on one location. We saw it not once or twice. Like it's just crazy. If I was playing, I would want. There's that fall. Oh, that's sad to watch because if he could have gotten in there, the whole game could have changed. But sadly, he could not.
I mean, really thinking about it, was there enough time to even steal cash out? Like, I know there was a sliver left, and it takes a little bit of time to really steal, but really is the important question
close.
here.
Yeah, not sure, but it definitely would have been close. And I think that we're now working on the graphic for the overall teams. I'm not sure kind of who's going to be in first and who's going to be holding off. I think that, we're really seeing some great plays from everybody. This is shocking. This is fun. This is just really exciting to see.
I will say that 44k should be a shakeup in regards to placement, so you're just going to have to wait and see if Yappers and NTHX are still in first and second place respectively, or maybe Birds might have been able to claw their way out of fourth and maybe somewhere into that top 3. We're just going to have to wait until we get our graphic up.
Yep. And I believe that might have been the last match between all of these teams. I think that after this, we're going to be going into the next one. I might be wrong, but I think that this might be the last one for this group. So once we get the final rosters, we should be able to see kind of where everybody spreads out on this.
Yeah, because after this, if I look correctly, we got done with Group 1A, and then it should be winners round 2 after elimination round 2 after the fact with that. So we're going to have a full day of the finals coming up, just to say the least. And if that was one thing to watch with the 44K and then the last minute steal, I can't imagine what should be happening in these next couple of hours.
Yep. I think that, hopefully we'll see an upset or maybe just somebody run in there and show their dominance. And just want to throw this out there again, that we do still have a whole nother set of teams that are playing on Stream B. So feel free to check out Artie IRL's stream on Twitch, and you can see all those matches as well. He's solo casting, so give him some support. It's not easy doing this by yourself. So feel free to go check out those matches, and we'll have more here very shortly.
Of course, believe we still should be getting our graphic up pretty soon. Not sure what is happening now, but I will say, so far, the day's been pretty exciting.
Yeah, and here we go. So we see first place is BKO. They have 17 kill points, and for a total of cash out today of 152,000 for a total points of 54 points. That is a commanding lead, followed closely by Yappers in second. They have 10 kill points. They have 29 placement points and total cash of 83,000 for points of 39. For total points of 39. Third place, we have NTHX with 10 kill points, 25 placement points, 44,000. So we're starting to see them getting, the bottom 2 are getting less than half of the cash outs that the top teams are getting for a total points of 35. So they are still getting close up there to Yappers, and NTHX could kind of come back and steal this. Finally, we have Bertz with 9 kill points, 17 placement points, and only $27,000 cashed out for a total of 26 points.
Okay, so I was a little wrong here, but a little right in thinking that there was a shakeup between Yappers and NTHX. It was BKO able to overtake in first place, and honestly, massive differential, 152,000 versus 83k, and I get that can change in a split second, and sure, Bert's catching up with 27k versus 44k from NTHX Esports, but that last game was definitely the one that BKO needed to finally break through in the first.
Yep. Yeah, and just really great to see. I was thinking Yappers was going to come in and just kind of take control today, but BKO really kind of showing that they have a dominant play style, especially with how chaotic that last match was, with 4 teams going after 44,000. Just something that kind of shows that there is a leader happening right now, and I think the team to watch is BKO for sure.
1000%, and I got a update from production here that people should be getting in the lobby now, so just really wasting no time and wanted to get started with this next game. Here we go.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, if they're starting to get in, do we have another match? Is this in the same group, or do we know if this is for the
Might
second
be
group?
next group here, I believe. Okay, same match,
Same
map
map.
4.
Okay, gotcha. So we see this group one more time. And yeah, I don't know what to expect. It's been kind of BKO is probably gonna take this one as well. I think 5 maps in total. Gotcha. Okay, so this is not the last map. We have 2 more to play with this team, and yeah, I think that we'll be getting started real soon if they're hopping into the game. Here we go.
Of course, we are going to be headed over to Las Vegas, so really should be a little more fun. And considering that I grew up in Vegas, I'm not saying I'm biased in seeing this map again. However, it is still fun to walk through, especially casino-wise.
Even possible.
I love this map because it is a one-to-one redo of an actual place. So all of these buildings are actually there, and it's just kind of
We
satisfying.
didn't have as many kills as the game before that, but
It is a real building in real life. So it's cool to see all the dynamic plays. My biggest downside to this map is that in between all of the buildings, there's just a large group and a large amount of space, and then it makes it kind of hard to get from point A to point B because you can just get chipped away from the top of the buildings.
Truly. So I will say, in hearing that, oh yeah, this is 1-1 recreation of Las Vegas, you're not wrong on that one. There are a lot of places that are familiar, like the Golden Nugget, but then names rechange and pass by a building. I'm like,
Yeah.
is this Fremont Street, Las Vegas, Nevada? It is just another name that nobody will really remember. It's totally fine as we get started already just in the upper floor here of rooms. It looks to be Chickpea, Swaco, and Z yet again, at least setting up a turret and trying to take Vault 1 already. And I say that might be another team trying to pop in on them by surprise.
Hey, you want to drop to the cache and then we open a hole in the wall and then mega ped?
Really weird locations that it's right behind a bar, so it's very open, very exposed. It does look like they're running away, and they are probably going to get this vault. The zip line goes down. They are running away, trying to get it inserted. I believe they're going for A. I'm curious if they're going to bring both of these cash outs to the same cash out station. I think that we are now just going to see that over and over again because it just is how you show dominance on these between these teams. We see in THX going down. Oh, they get team wiped right away. Wow. Did not expect to see that.
Man, in a very fast, well, startlingly fast manner at that one. I mean, NTHX are usually the one team to really outlast these kind of situations, but I guess they kind of got caught off guard in that one. Should be fine. Just dust off the bruises, walk it off. Should be fine after the fact. Was head down over to the stairway. Remnants of a heavy shield following, and Demoff Boone in a situation just downstairs here trying to go for cash out A.
Right now, I'm looking.
Yep, we do actually have both cash outs going, not at the same cash out station. So this is great. We can kind of see that
Oh,
B,
right here,
they are
here.
just kind of setting up with
Orange,
Gremlin,
orange, orange.
MXKX,
Replace APS, yep.
and they
I'm
are now
replacing
getting
Valkyrie,
pushed.
bro. Replacing
And
Valkyrie.
the roof is just exploding in front of them. Gremlin getting healed by his teammate. They have a bounce pad. They're just waiting to get pushed, and they are getting pushed right now. So we see 2 team fights happening at both cash outs.
Man, a good team fight at that one. Trying to go for the revive, at least down below, but that is going to be a team wipe forward. And NTHX now, almost actually, they do lose one. It is Carbon going down, 27 seconds left on that revive, and should have a defibrillator, so time just completely halved. And down below with that shotgun action, it is Ploppy trying to find one and almost finds another op going down, and there should be more kills on the board for NTHX. X before Nolly is actually able to secure the wipe. Almost is. Shield up.
Oh, he's
and
just
tries
staying on.
going downstairs, just standing on business before being eliminated with the remainder of NTHX.
New team.
Yep.
I'm dropping.
I really think they had it because they were able to get the reses and kind of hold it off, but they got picked off one by one. It was just down to their last heavy, and the heavy just kind of fell at the end. So here we see Demonov running. He's the only light player in this map, which is really great to see. It does look like they're holding it. They're coming down to the last quarter of this cash out, and they just need to hold it for about 15 more seconds. I'm curious if they can. It does look like one of them just went down. Demonov is still up and running, and we see NTHX running towards B. B seems pretty uncontested, but I'm not sure if they will even make it there in time.
I mean, it really would be a race for the ages. I mean, this early into the game, I really wouldn't have that much to worry about in regards to cash outs, but if you want a good lead, it should have to be priority anyways. About 13,000 between, actually no, 13,000 between that and 11,000. That not much of a difference, but Ploppy goes down, and now Demov taking the initiative and getting in these extra shots could secure a very quick and easy team wipe. Almost did, but it's going to have to be the remainder of his teammates to do so for them.
Yep, that was great teamwork. Demov got 2 kills back to back that were really impressive, and I was so sad to see that he didn't get that last 20% health off of that heavy. But his team was able to kind of come in there and save him. We saw the res come in, and yeah, they're all back and going at it again. That's what's really impressive about having a good medium that can heal and bring your team back from the brink of extinction, basically.
Just going up zip with everyone kind of resettling, getting back on their feet as 3 should be open pretty soon. So really just a race to the quickest vault as we approach halftime. About 4 minutes, 27 seconds left on the clock for everybody involved here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we have halfway through the map, and we really see that the top 2 teams are the ones kind of holding off. In bottom place, we see that they only have $700, which is, man, I think it might even be less. I can't really see. $500, wow. So they have quite a hill to climb if they're wanting to get anything. But with the amount of cash that can go into these last cash outs, they absolutely can come back and climb to the top. Because the top tier team right now only has 15,000. So a couple of kills, a couple of steals, and boy, they might be able to kind of bring themselves up to the first place.
I need to keep it real with you. 500 is just not a small amount. That is a Sisyphean task. Almost, instead of a boulder, trying to roll a cash out up a hill of 90 degrees or more, even upside down at 127, it's not going to be the easiest thing to do. You have to lock it in. I say lock it in right now, because between you and about $5,220, about to be $15,000 if we get 2 cash outs here, you might find yourself in the dust if you're not quick enough.
Yeah, we see the dematerializers are going down, and NTHX is able to kind of bring it down. They throw the APS turret down. We see everybody huddling around. They're going to go for the steal. We see their heavy Nylon X is holding off and using that shield to just kind of hold everybody at bay. And that APS does come in handy because it gives everybody kind of a nice area to stick around in, and any nades that come in, they just immediately get blocked, at least for the first 4 of them. Yeah, we kind of see every team scrambling. I think that we have 2 cash outs going on at the same time again. We do. So yeah, and like I said, the bottom place team now is getting a cash out for 15,000. If they're able to hold this, they will come back.
Listen, Red might
That
actually
should
come here.
be a massive comeback at that one. 15,000 is huge, and about $1,000 in the bank for you and yourself. Only, I mean, it's the one thing you really need. Just don't be spending it all in one place, especially in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's be very real here. That place is a big trap for gambling. I should know. I think I lost about like $200 on blackjack once, but that is a story for another time entirely. As THX now back on the grind, trying to snatch away D,
And
but
they did it.
too little. Actually, they did. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't look. I did not
THX
realize.
they were able to come from last to first. So this is one of the closest we've ever seen. I think if this last cash out goes out, all of the teams are going to be within just $5,000. So we're going to come down to the last cash out. I think that we have just a minute 40 left. And yeah, Demov is doing his best. He's just getting elimination after elimination. Running around. Vault 5 is going to go down, but yeah, we have 20,000, 16,000, 16,000, and I believe the last one is 15. So all of these are within 4,000 to 5,000 of each other. At this point, it really is anyone's game. This is the closest that we've seen all day.
I was gonna say just whose game it is. LA. No, not WWE. I have to remind myself this is the finals we are talking about in Vegas specifically. Speaking of that, we do have orbital lasers up and active, so should make things just a little more destructive for everyone involved. If you're not careful enough, the ground that you find above or below you could go down just as easy. And Volt 6, 22,000 on the line if you are in last place or maybe even in first. This could secure you a quick and easy win of the game.
Yeah, with everything this close, this is really what you want to see. We see the first cash out starting, and I'm curious if they're going to bring this next one over. It does look like the cash out 6 might be going to B, so we will have 2 separate cash outs going, and not another 44,000 like we had in the last game. But that's okay. It makes it where really anybody can come in and take this. It's not going to be one team with the commanding lead at the end. It's going to be one team with just a little bit of a lead over the other one. At this point, I would really focus on not going down, not dying, because you want to just not lose that 30%. Any team that loses 30% can go from first to last just immediately.
And that is, of course, one thing you exactly want to mean right now between second and third place, both of which have about $22,000 cash out on the line. It's going to make it, you actually make yourself a very big, I wouldn't say easy target to really gun after, but for anyone quick enough, you find your stuff getting stolen very fast, about 56 seconds on the board. I imagine someone in fourth place right now, 16,000. Trying to at least steal here. Maybe for first, I don't really have that much to worry about, but if you are in second, 19K and about 22 to tack onto the board, should be a little trickier to navigate with Chick B on top, getting into the heels and having to revive Gremlin on another side here, shielding up momentarily for this heavy and might go down just as fast. Floppy gonna be the very unfortunate bullet sponge in this case, and just the third party potential we were talking about earlier. Gremlin just getting in these kills alongside MXKX.
Yeah, this is really impressive. Lots of teammates are down. I think we've had one team wipe, and we see the last place only has 12,000, so they did lose a big chunk of their cash. I think we're down to the last few seconds, so it's going to be who can hold it, who can take it, and yeah, there we go.
Coming into first, or really just second place here. I believe first place should be an easy win. Coming up here, and I say drip or drown with the Panther drip. It is MXKX Op and Gremlin will take this game.
Yeah, that was impressive. That was exciting. We saw more of a turn to traditional gameplay where there were 2 cash outs happening at every time instead of the cluster that we had previously. So it was cool to see more focused fights, more 2-on-2 gameplay, and I think that's it's a little easier to follow, a little easier to see, because when you have 4 teams attacking one location, you just have teammate after teammate going down. And we did see just some great plays from Dimov today. I think that in that last match, he had several times where he got 2 kills just right off the bat and was able to kind of have his team clean up. So we saw some great gameplay, more traditional, and I think we're going into a highlight reel.
Yeah, and for Dimov especially, I will say, sure, the cash outs might not have been there a little early on, but the KP, I imagine that has just been absolutely stacked on. I mean, must be a little high at this point when you really think about it. And NTHX initially starting off in a bit of a rough patch, if it was $500, I remember correctly, but then able to get at least a couple of good wipes, some good kills coming forward. But it is the demon that is Dimov that has got not 1, not 2, but almost a 3-piece before the rest of his teammates were able to clear out.
Yeah, and just look at this. We see him running, sliding. He's amazing with this gun, and just gets really crucial and important kills. And we can see, who is that? Chickpea diving on a point. They were able to get the team wipe and steal that vault right at the last few seconds. So just an amazing close gameplay, great replay there, and just kind of what we want to see. We've got one more match coming up after this, so it will kind of finish off this first qualifier group, the first split, and yeah, we still have 3 more after this, or 2 more after this, 2 more groups after this, but yeah, really fun to see so far.
Yeah, and a match 5 after this, like we said. I believe groups should be updated up until match 3. So far, so good. I believe we're just waiting on the overall leaderboard from this game before going into the next, of course.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, especially from the kill points to the total cash out so far. I think that we should see some teams that have over 200,000 cashed out already. So from 4 games, that's quite a lot just to see so far. And I'm curious to see if BKO was able to come back and get their lead, or really who is holding it right now.
Just gonna have to wait and see on that one, because okay, so teams, we are waiting them to submit their scoreboard. And for NTHX, I know there's a lot of fans in chat that I've been seeing a lot of copy pasta with, so I imagine pretty popular team going forward. But with Birds kind of being the underdog here, it would be cool to see them at least get a little further upward.
Yeah, and I think one of the coolest things that we saw in that last match was NTHX had just, what was it, $500, and they were able to get that cash out really early on and bring themselves from last to first just immediately. That was cool to see, and shows the teamwork and just how much these last minute cash outs can change an entire team.
Truly so. I mean, especially on Las Vegas, now we've gone from Skyway kind of being that long range kind of rifle type of game to now Las Vegas being more close quarters. And for DMOF especially, that must have been an absolute blast, because hey, I go up on an elevator, I can easily get my kills. Staircase, more kills there. I can go into another casino, even more kills there. So rather than focusing on cash outs, I feel KP in a lot of situations can really be key.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see just how often the cash out would start on the first floor, and they were able to blow it up and bring it down, and then the team fights just happened right around there. We see the APS being used a lot in these last matches. Interestingly enough, the APS just got nerfed pretty hardcore. It used to block all incoming projectiles, and now it only blocks 4 grenades. So I'm still excited. I'm excited to see it, that it hasn't just been, taken out of the match. It's still being used, because when I play competitively, I just don't see it as much anymore. So it's still being used and utilized here today, and that's always fun to see that they're able to kind of run around and still work with it. We see BKO is in first place with a total of 22 kill points. And placement points in total 54 for a total of 74 points. Yappers is coming in with 15 kill points, 40 placement points, and a total of 54 points overall. Next, we have in third place NTHX with 12 kill points, 28 placement points, and for a total of 40. Bertz is actually was able to bring it up a little bit, because now they have 12 kill points, 24 placement points, and they're just slightly behind NTHX with 36. So it does seem like we had some upsets in this last match, and things are a lot closer than I expected for these third place teams, or for the bottom 3 teams. First place, BKO, really kind of holding it, but bottom 3 is a little bit of a toss-up right now.
Yeah, I will say Bert's actually finally building up a little bit in cash, but between themselves and NTHX, that's 56,000 versus 27,000. Still a bit of a difference, but at least it's kind of the gap closing just a little bit here at Yappers, who first 2 games had a very commanding lead over everyone else, and NTHX following. Actually, first was first game, but then here comes BKO, that so far really managing to upset the competition as we head into our final map.
Yep, it looks like this one will be on Cis Horizon, so we have all 4 teams coming back on the map that we started off with. And yeah, I think that this is a great one to finish it off on. I think that BKO, I think they had a commanding start on it last when we first got started, so I think that we might see that again, but we'll see if anything has changed. And it does look like DMOF is now maybe running the throwing knives. I can't tell because he's holding out the teleporter. He is on throwing knives. These did get buffed recently, and I see them being used quite a lot. And I think that they are really powerful right now. So this will be fun to see, especially if he is kind of a master of the knives.
They're above us, no?
Yeah,
Yeah, they are.
love this. Could be
What? How many? Oh, new team.
back home and from long distance, but losing one. Sueco getting in the way of those knives, and probably hearing something switch by and be like, throwing knives on this map in this day and age? Unfortunately so.
Yep. And it does have the advantage where you just don't have to reload. So if you're able to just hold down left click, it does kind of come in advantage. I'm excited that we're seeing it in play. We see NTHX going for Vault 1. They're in control of, or Cash Out 1. They're holding it. They're running away, and we see the nice pocket healing going on from Carbon. And we see them throwing down a zip line, running across, jumping up everywhere, trying to get the kills. And they're heavy, and they do get Sueco down.
Man, and Sueco going down at least very fast. You're probably caught off guard by the fact that there are 3 people just right on top of them. You really can't do much in that situation, but at least able to steal Vault number 1 here at about $10,000 in tow. About Cash Out, first one starting off.
Team up, bro.
Yeah, first one's running away, and we do see that the first Vault is, the first Cash Out is still not inserted in. B is almost halfway there, and they haven't even gotten A started. So this will be interesting when it comes into it, because it's just going to throw the balance off. Now we do see Gremlin kind of getting the shots off from below. The Vault is over in the corner here, and it does make that really kind of tight and close where everybody's going to have to push in. I think that they bounced that over there, so they wanted it over there, and they got it, and it did seem like it helped them hold that off. Yeah.
Just a little further to the Cash Out, pretty much at the very edge of the map, or just the edge of the world if you're really looking at it in that way, with Chickpea, Z, and Sueco now headed back over. Quick little goo right then and there to make sure they have some heavy fortification, just in case anyone to try to push a little further in than need be. Gremlin down below with Op and MXKX getting in the heels with heavy in tow.
They might drop it.
Yeah, and this shield is really coming in clutch, because they're able to kind of back up, hold off the shield, get kills, get points taken off their health. And oh no, it does look like his whole team goes down. Gremlin is the last one up. Oh, that was a team wipe actually. So they're going to lose this Cash Out.
And a really unfortunate way to go out, knowing that you had an early Cash Out at the very last second. That is about 10K down the drain for yourselves. Sure, it's not something to kick yourself in the butt behind, but it's still a significant amount to a point of done you some good in the long run.
Yeah. And it looks like NTHX is kind of holding a nice commanding lead on this other Cash Out, because it got started late. We see Demov, and he goes down really fast. Those knives are not working out great for him right now. And boy, his team goes down, and they have another team wipe, and they're down to just $200 in cash. This is not what we were seeing previously, and it is a little sad to see. It does look like MTHX is going to be holding on to Vault A, and I think that they'll be able to get this Cash Out completed.
Man,
Maybe I spoke too soon.
Cash or curse possibly?
Let them get it. They're first. Let them get it.
Again,
Let them get
I
it.
say, but on that note, Chickpea and Sueco now trying to steal for Cash Out. They are down by 1, and that should be a quick revive, possibly about 16 seconds left on that. Op does, however, go down and out, so plenty of good assists with MXKX following soon after. Defib onto Sueco, but yourself, I mean, I guess one sacrifice is worthy enough, and thankfully able to take down a heavy.
Yeah, that was really close. I thought that they were all going to go down, but they were able to kind of get that really crucial kill. He got rezzed as a heavy and, half health, but luckily the other heavy that he was facing also had half health, so they were able to kind of get that important kill, and it saved his team from getting wiped.
And it thankfully did. The revive couldn't have come at a better time, but now that we focus a little more on everyone else in our multi-view here, just a couple of teams coming back from spawn, and another Vault opening up with 3 and 4, at least offering 15K coming up momentarily.
Yep. I'm curious if they'll bring it in and do one Cash Out or 2. We see that both teams are kind of fighting over Vault 3, and Vault 4 is kind of, they're really close to each other. So this is making me think that they might have something planned to go for one final Cash Out. The teams are pretty evenly spaced. We see the top team has 13,000, second team has 10,000, and then a pretty big gap going down 3,000 and then 2,000 for the last team. You see Chickpea gets rezzed, running away, but Sueco is still down, so he's going to try and bring him back. We see that they ran into another team as he was trying to get his team rezzed, but it looks like they're running away, and he was able to bring everybody back and get control of Cash Out or Vault 3.
Light.
Man, with the jump pad out just in case, just hopping over to vault number 4, 15K on the board, and CMD available for those cash outs as well. But for Gremlin and company, really just depends on which one they want to go to, which one to be a little more safe, and I think they're opting in for C.
Yeah, C, this is one of my favorites in this area because you have such, verticality where you can be really high up in there and just wait for the teams to push into you. And it does look like we're getting both cash outs started here, so it will be C and looks like D going off. And yeah, I think that
Yeah, he's here in this corner.
I think any team can kind of take it and run with it, because if these vaults are going for 15,000, these will be probably the last two. Even the last place teams, which are 2,000 and 2,000, if they're able to kind of come in and steal it, they will be in good position. And they did just bounce the vault out off the map. So everything I said about verticality kind of goes away, and they're going to take the fight to the street.
I mean, it's vertical, all right, if it's just dropping down another way. I guess if it works, but dropping in, or maybe dropping above, coming up, who knows? I mean, Chickpea, either way, goes down. Another assist onto Swaco, and really looking good. NTHX, despite being down by Noli, secured 2 more kills for themselves.
Yeah, it was great teamwork, and NTHX was able to kind of bring their team back from the brink. Great kills. We see Demov's pretty low. I'd like to see more of him, with the throwing cards. But it looks like NTHX is down to just two players, with Plo or Polly kind of down right on top of the vault. So they're going to hold up, and I don't think they're going to, bring him back because he's just in a really bad position.
Yeah, go to Swaco.
And orbital lasers incoming, so should add on and tack on to the destruction that has been going on so far. Heavy shielding up just in case, and now with that active, Demov going in just in case. Able to throw out a couple knives here with cash out C coming to a close, but still time for a quick steal of 15K.
Yeah, like that.
Yep. I think that there's still a minute left, so even after these cash outs finish, we might see another vault open. And here we see Chickpea trying to go in and dive on it while it's being stolen. I think he was able to prevent the steal from happening, but I think his team went down. No, Demov is still up, and it is still being stolen. He gets one elimination. He runs over a mine, sadly, and he did lose the vault there. So sad to see. I'm not sure those throwing knives were the proper choice after seeing just such a staying power he had with the machine gun, or these SMG. So interesting choice. We see them kind of running away, and everybody's going to set up, and I think we might see one more vault open and one more cash out.
I will say that was such a valiant effort coming in from Demov on those throwing knives. You just see them going forward, the best of his abilities. And sure, it worked for a second, but it's not able to stave off the absolute horde of players that was coming after you. So you're just going to have to get back, the respawn, dust off the bruises, and just walk it off momentarily, as B should be opening up in just a second here to at least try and go for.
Yeah, and luckily he throws down the teleporter, and he's able to get that cash out right up to B, and with just a few seconds left, they are going to get it started. And this is going to get started for 22,000, so if they're able to hold this, it might help bring them all the way up to the top. Now, they can't get team wiped, so this is really going to see some close plays and more protecting themselves and of the vault.
Man, I'm starting to understand why these throwing knives are good from a ways, but in this situation might not have been the best thing for Demov, but focusing a little more on NTHX now, going for B, trying to get the steal at least, but in from behind, the door just gets gooed, and now find themselves in a vulnerable position, as that just was a distraction. Another team dropping in from above.
Yeah, NTHX really don't want to see that happen, because they are in last place right now with only 2,000, so they have to get one of these cash outs to really, or they're just going to lose so many points, the potential of points anyway.
And that's the one thing you don't want. I mean, knowing that you had a first place lead at one point, Yappers was able to overtake, and then another team comes in and overtakes Yappers. I mean, I want to say, kind of find yourself in danger of being sent down to 4th place as game comes to an end here, and it is situation Demov and company able to take first.
Yeah. That was great right at the end. He was actually able to make those throwing knives work. He protected the cash out, and it did bring them up all the way to the top. So that was exciting to see.
Excuse me, I misread that wrong. It's going to be Situation Team Off taking second with Op XKX and Gremlin taking first, so I do apologize for that. But either way, a lot of shakeups coming forward with teams that, kind of started off a little under, now finding themselves over, especially NTHX and Yappers.
Yeah, there were a lot of teams that kind of pulled it up right at the end, and we are still going back to the more traditional. I think these teams have realized that having both cash outs at one station just isn't the play to have here. This was a great play when Gremlin kind of came in and just destroyed the team, holds the cash out after they had bounced it off. Lots of really good stuff happening. Brings himself down really low, and Chickpea kind of comes in there and finishes him off. I love the dematerializer. It's able to kind of throw the vault all the way down to wherever you need it, and kind of come from underneath them.
And a good couple of plays at that, especially here just right in these last seconds from Chickpea, who got the revive and got the kill at that one hop through window, but still kind of got into a bit of a tango with the heavy. We will say, though, it was that revive that did manage to secure them last second team wipe, and really just the uncontrolled chaos that we were really looking for going into this game.
Yeah, and Sis Horizon was a great match to see this on. Interestingly enough, that they didn't get the final vault going. Everybody decided to spend their time, their teams going after this vault right here, right at the end. So interesting to see, and we see here Demob making that play. He was able to get one elimination and steps on a mine, and sadly goes down.
Man, that was unfortunate, but the throwing knife staying power, a little underwhelming, but in a lot of key situations, especially close quarters, was working to a point. We have to talk about NTHX and the way they was just dropped down upon, right? Good at one door, and then they were looking just anyone to try and fire upon. It was a distraction. The real team dropped in from down below and were able to at least try and retake cash out of really great plays overall.
Yeah, every team has been really impressive, has brought their A game, and I think that they're all just fighting to move on to this next bracket and not into the lower bracket. You can kind of see lots of upsets. BKO, I believe, was kind of a dominating force again. They kind of have stayed that way through nearly every match, and they definitely show off on Sis Horizon. I think that it's just kind of goes back to you're able to kind of know what's happening and not have a lot of variations between the maps. So really exciting to see, fun to watch, and yeah, I think we're going to get into our stats here.
And it looks to be BKO right now in first place at about 28 KP, 67 placement, but 226,342
Wow.
for at least 95 points overall, with Yappers and Berts following in second and third with a respective 111,000 and 55,000. But in a bit of a shock and an upset, NTHX find themselves in fourth place at only 47 total placement points, 58,000. So massive shakeups coming here on our series leaderboard overall.
Interestingly enough, Bertz just has the lead just from getting more kill points. So the NTHX actually has more cash outs, but or more cash, but Bertz was able to kind of get just a few more kills. And yeah, this is interesting to see. I think BKO is quite a force. They have a commanding lead today. Yappers close behind them, and it's just interesting to see our third and fourth place teams kind of being so neck and neck. But yeah, we definitely do have two teams that are leading quite heavily.
Yeah, and I will say surprising too, considering BKO were 1 point in third place and now at first, and then Bertz in the dreaded fourth place, and NTHX, I imagine, not the one place they wanted to end up at. They were in first initially, and now only at 47 with 58,000 cash total. It's going to be an uphill battle, surprisingly enough.
Yeah. And I mean, like, let's just talk about, BKO for a sec with $226,000 cashed out. That's more than double of what's right below them, and 4 times what's in third and fourth. So it's just wow. Like they were in control. They got the most kills. They got the most cash outs. Very, very impressive to see.
And truly so, but I believe after looking at our stats, we should have a break coming up shortly as we get everything, resettled and heading into our next matches for the day here, Rio.
Yep, I think that we are going to have a quick 5-minute break and, yeah, go on to the next round.
Oh,
No, we're still here.
oh, possibly, maybe, question mark. I think production just maybe wanted to see our faces again real quick, which we will say next match is coming up. Should be a blast to watch overall.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the standings are. I think that we'll see some really exciting matches, and we'll also get to find out what happened on the B stream. So, yeah, lots more to come.
Yep, that is true. Oh, are we ready for break? Question mark. I know we hear production in the background. Okay, so we should be good for break after us. So please stick with us. We'll be right back with more finals gameplay.
Oh my god, I pushed their portal. No.
I didn't mean to go.
All right, are we off?
Ooh, hold on.
Oh no. Jeez, with 2 streams, that's got to be chaotic. I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Wait, I'm looking here, I'm looking here. Baby fight, baby fight.
He's stealing again, he's stealing again.
I'm running. I'm running.
He's below you, David.
Oh my god, Gremlin, you're so good. Oh, okay, Gremlin, okay. Oh. You're dead.
Mine here, mine here. Medium blow, medium blow. Let me help. One HP. How is he already rest? Demons. I can't.
Medium rocketing.
Medium one.
Go second floor. On me. Dead.
Yeah, witches.
Glitch. I'm dead.
No.
You're bucket. That's too deep, man. Half. Nice. Z's going. Shoot.
Right, all week.
Deep it.